All right, we've got some seriously cool research to dig into today.
Oh, yeah.
You guys sent in some stuff about the latest simulations of neutron star matter. And we're talking about some of the densest objects in the universe, like seriously dense,
Yeah.
and how they form from the explosive deaths of massive stars. So,
Buckle up.
get ready.
It's going to be a wild ride.
I know we all know that when a massive star runs out of fuel, it collapses.
Yeah.
And it triggers a supernova, right?
Right.
But what is actually happening at the atomic level during this collapse?
It's pretty hard to imagine the forces at play.
Yeah.
Just picture the core of the star, this giant nuclear furnace, suddenly gets squeezed with unimaginable force. The pressure is so intense, it forces protons and electrons to merge, creating a sea of neutrons.
Hence the name.
Hence the name neutron star.
And these neutron stars are so dense.
Unbelievably dense.
It's like a teaspoonful weighing billions of tons.
Yeah.
But this new research is going even deeper.
Way deeper.
They're looking at how those neutrons are actually arranged within the star. And I think they're talking about something called spin and density correlations, right?
Exactly. Think of it like this. In a normal material, atoms are spaced out.
Right.
But in a neutron star, it's essentially one giant atomic nucleus. So these simulations are showing us that the neutrons aren't just randomly packed together, they're organized. They have specific patterns based on their spin and how tightly packed they are.
Okay. So why should we care about how neutrons are arranged in a neutron star? This seems so incredibly specific.
Mm-hmm.
But are you saying that this actually has implications for the supernova explosion itself?
It absolutely does. When a supernova happens, it's not just the shock wave from the collapsing star that drives the explosion. It's also the flood of neutrinos released from the core.
Neutrinos?
Yeah. These neutrinos interact with the incredibly dense neutron matter, and how easily they pass through depends on those spin and density correlations.
Wait, are you telling me that these tiny, almost massless neutrinos are playing a key role in these massive explosions?
They are, and that's what makes this research so groundbreaking. It's giving us a more accurate picture of how those neutrinos interact with the neutron matter, which in turn helps us understand how the explosion is actually powered.
Oh, wow.
And you know what? It's challenging some of our previous assumptions.
That's so cool. This is where it gets really cool for me. The research mentions a new technique they use to run these simulations. It's called the rank 1 operator method.
Yeah.
What's so special about this method?
Well, this method allows us to explore densities and complexities that were simply out of reach before. Previous models had limitations. They couldn't accurately capture those subtle but crucial interactions between trillions of neutrons.
Right.
This new method makes the calculations much more efficient, allowing them to simulate these systems in a way that was previously impossible.
So they're basically unlocking a whole new level of detail in these simulations, which is leading to these new insights about neutrino behavior and supernova explosions.
Exactly. And it's not just about confirming what we thought we knew. It's about uncovering new physics. We're seeing features that were missed in previous models, and it's changing our understanding of these incredibly dense environments.
Hold on. Before we get too deep into the weeds, let's connect this back to the bigger picture. We're talking about the death of a star, but also the birth of something new.
Absolutely. Supernovae are more than just spectacular light shows. They're the cosmic engines that seed the universe with the building blocks of life. The elements heavier than iron, like gold, silver, and even the elements that make up our own bodies, are forged in the intense heat and pressure of these explosions.
So in a way, we're all made of stardust, and these new simulations are helping us understand the very processes that created those elements.
Precisely. By understanding the dynamics of supernova, we're not just understanding the life cycle of stars, we're understanding the origins of the universe as we know it.
This is already blowing my mind, and we're just getting started. We've talked about the collapse of the star, the formation of a neutron star, and these incredible simulations that are revealing new details about the process. But there's still so much more to unpack.
There is. For example, how do these findings impact our understanding of different types of supernovae? And what about the role of magnetic fields in these explosions? There's a lot more to explore.
Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we've established that supernovae are like essential for creating the heavy elements that make up, well, everything.
Pretty much.
But it's not just about what they create, right? It's about how those elements get distributed throughout the universe.
Exactly. Think of it like scattering seeds across a cosmic garden. The explosion itself is incredibly powerful, propelling these newly formed elements outwards at incredible speeds. This material then mixes with interstellar gas and dust, eventually forming new stars and planets.
Whoa. So those elements created in the heart of a dying star, could end up becoming part of a brand new solar system, maybe even a planet like Earth.
Exact.
That's an incredible chain of events.
It really is. It highlights the interconnectedness of the universe. Everything is linked, from the smallest particles to the largest structures, and these simulations are helping us understand those connections in ways we never could before.
Speaking of connections, this research itself was a collaboration between scientists from multiple countries, right?
Yeah, a truly global effort. Researchers from the US, China, Turkey, Germany, all over. They all contributed their expertise. It's a testament to the power of international collaboration in science, especially when tackling complex problems like this.
Yeah, you realize that science transcends borders. It's a shared pursuit of knowledge and understanding that unites people from all over the world.
Absolutely.
And it's not just about the scientists themselves, right? These simulations require immense computing power, often using supercomputers that are shared resources across different countries.
Oh yeah, it truly is a global effort.
It really is. This brings us to something I find fascinating, the ab initio nature of these simulations. Can you explain what that means and why it's so important?
Sure. So ab initio literally means from the beginning. In the context of these simulations, it means they're not based on pre-existing models or simplified assumptions. They start with the fundamental laws of physics and build up the system from there, particle by particle.
So it's like constructing a building from the ground up, brick by brick,
Yeah.
rather than using prefabricated sections that might have hidden flaws.
That's a great analogy. By starting from first principles, these simulations offer a level of accuracy and detail that wasn't possible before. They allow us to study the complex interactions between trillions of neutrons in a way that's grounded in fundamental physics.
That's incredibly impressive. But I have to admit, it also sounds incredibly complex. How do they manage to simulate something so intricate? It must require a phenomenal amount of computational power.
It does. We're talking about modeling the behavior of a system with more particles than there are stars in the Milky Way galaxy. This requires not only powerful supercomputers, but also sophisticated algorithms, like the rank 1 operator method we mentioned earlier. This method drastically reduces the computational effort required, making these detailed simulations possible.
It's fascinating how these tools and techniques are constantly evolving, pushing the boundaries of what we can study and understand. And this research is a prime example of that. It's not just about the findings themselves, it's about the doors it opens for future research.
Absolutely. These new techniques and insights can be applied to other areas of astrophysics and nuclear physics, even potentially to other fields we haven't considered yet. It's like opening up a whole new toolbox for scientific exploration.
I love that. Okay, so we've talked about these incredible simulations, the global collaboration behind them, and the mind-boggling scale of what they're studying. But let's zoom back in on those spin and density correlations for a moment. Can you walk us through how those correlations actually impact the behavior of neutrinos during a supernova?
All right. Imagine you're a neutrino trying to escape the incredibly dense core of a collapsing star. It's like trying to navigate a crowded room. If everyone's moving randomly, it's easier to weave your way through. But if people are grouped together in specific formations, it becomes much harder to get through.
Oh, I see. So the way those neutrons are arranged, their spin and density correlations, creates a sort of obstacle course for the neutrinos trying to escape.
Exactly. If the neutrons are highly correlated, meaning their spins and positions are aligned in specific patterns, it makes it much harder for neutrinos to pass through. They'll scatter more frequently, interacting with the surrounding matter and transferring energy.
And that energy transfer is what helps drive the supernova explosion, right? It's like those neutrinos are giving a little boost to the outward moving shock wave.
That's right. The energy transferred by those scattering neutrinos contributes to the overall energy of the explosion, influencing whether the star successfully explodes and how much material is ejected into space.
This highlights something that keeps coming up, the interconnectedness of everything. From the smallest particles to the largest explosions, it's all linked together in a delicate cosmic dance. And these simulations are allowing us to see those connections in a whole new light.
I agree.
It's pretty amazing how something as abstract as like spin and density correlations,
I know, right?
can have such a huge impact on the fate of a star.
Yeah,
It really shows how even the tiniest details matter in the grand scheme of things.
it does.
So we've talked about the collapse of the star,
Right.
the formation of the neutron star, and the role of neutrinos in the supernova explosion. But there's another piece of the puzzle we haven't really touched on yet, the creation of heavy elements. Can you kind of walk us through how that happens in the chaos of a supernova?
Okay, so during a supernova, the temperatures and pressures reach insane levels, like it's a giant cosmic pressure cooker.
Whoa.
Under these extreme conditions, lighter elements like hydrogen and helium are fused together to form heavier elements like carbon, oxygen, silicon, and even gold.
So all the gold we find on Earth, even the gold in our jewelry, was forged in the heart of a dying star billions of years ago.
It was.
That's mind-blowing.
It is, and it's not just gold. Many of the elements that are essential for life, like carbon, oxygen, and nitrogen, were also created in these stellar explosions. Supernovae are literally the source of the building blocks of life as we know it.
Which makes me think about that famous Carl Sagan quote. We are star stuff. It's not just a poetic phrase, it's literally true.
It is.
We're made of the remnants of ancient stars.
It is. Absolutely. And every time we look up at the stars, we're seeing the potential for new elements to be created, for new worlds to be formed. It's a continuous cycle of cosmic creation and destruction.
It's both humbling and awe-inspiring to think about our place in this vast, ever-evolving universe. And these new simulations are giving us a front-row seat to some of the most spectacular events in the cosmos.
They really are. And you know what? This is just the beginning.
Right.
As our computing power and simulation techniques continue to improve, we can expect even more groundbreaking discoveries in the years to come.
I can't wait. So we've delved into the heart of neutron stars, explored the mysteries of neutron matter, and seen how scientists are pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible. What are some of the key takeaways that you hope our listeners will remember from this deep dive?
That's a good question. I hope they'll remember the incredible power and complexity of supernovae, these cosmic events that shape the universe as we know it. I hope they'll marvel at the ingenuity of scientists who are developing these cutting-edge tools to study these phenomena in unprecedented detail. And most importantly, I hope they'll be inspired by the sheer wonder and beauty of the cosmos, a place where even the tiniest particles can play a profound role in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. It's been an awesome journey. And I feel like this is just the beginning of our exploration of neutron stars and supernovae. There's still so much more to learn, so many more mysteries to unravel. Thanks for guiding us through this fascinating topic.
It's been my pleasure.
And to all of you listening, we hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity and left you with a sense of wonder about the universe we inhabit. What stood out to you the most? What questions do you still have? Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and never stop looking up at the stars.